Now, warnings were made, police were out in force, and still the 2-week construction holiday has been marred by tragedy. Sûreté du Québec saying it is the darkest time on the roads in this province every year. This year, 22 people losing their lives in crashes across the province. Let's go now to Jesse Caron from CAA Quebec. Jesse, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Why do we keep having terrible records over the 2-week construction holiday?
Well, this is a period in the year where there's a lot of drivers on the road, obviously going to cottage, going to vacation, drivers who might be driving a vehicle that's larger than usual or towing a trailer. So that's different habits that they have to remind themselves of because, if it only happens once or twice a year, so that adds to the difficulty of driving, and there's always the same factors that come year in, year out, always the same factors: speed, driving under the influence, distraction, and not only with cell phones, but with infotainment systems embedded in the cars as well. So you mix all that up, and unfortunately that ends up being one of the worst years. I think it's not been that worse since 2011 or something.
Yeah, that's right. If we go back the last decade or so, it is the worst a year since 2011. So how do we fix it? I know the government is thinking about more photo radar and putting in measures like this. How do you fix it? How do you get the numbers to go in the right direction down?
Well, photo radars can be an option. It's part of the solution for sure, but it can't be the universal solution because it can prevent people from, it can for just short sections of the roadway, because right after the radar, people pick up their speed and it's all but forgotten. So that's one option, but the other main there's also the possibility for urban settings or areas to make a better use of the road. Fit better road, like with putting protruding sidewalks. So that might help in city environments. But when you're on the freeway or the highway, it all depends. It all comes back to driver behavior. We have a responsibility when we drive, and we have to share the road better, not only with other drivers and vehicles, but also with cyclists and motorcycles as well, because a lot of the fatalities that happened this year involved motorcycles. So that's one thing. And so slowing down obviously is an option. It's always good, because if you drive 15, 20 kilometers over the limit, above the limit, you will get there maybe 5 minutes faster, but you will have put some maybe people in danger. Mm-hmm. Even if you try to stay really attentive to the road, and you will also use 15 to 20% more fuel. So that's kind of a waste. So you slow down a little bit, and you also keep a safe distance with the cars that are ahead of you. That's one of the causes of these crashes, is that people aren't ready to react if something happens unexpected in front of them. So if you stay 2, 4, even 6 seconds behind the car that's ahead of you, you will have time to brake, especially if you have this big, trailer or you're driving this motorhome that's heavier and that takes a lot longer to brake.
Now, I'm really happy you brought up motorcycles and the amount of motorcycle drivers that were killed over this holiday period. So I just want to touch on that. We're with Jesse Caron from CA Quebec. There are a larger percentage of those deaths than they should be statistically, right? So do we need to pay particular attention? Do we need to maybe crack down more on bad behavior on those on motorcycles than anything else?
Well, some of these crashes might have been because of the motorcyclist behavior or driving, but a lot of them also happen because we're not used to, we don't pay attention enough as drivers to motorcycles around us. We're distracted by this infotainment system or by people in the car, or we're speaking on the phone, even on hands-free mode. It is distracting. So if a motorcycle pulls up ahead, like a day like today, the motorcycles will drive in the rain, so it makes them even less visible. So that unfortunately happened in quite a few events. But of course, as a motorcyclist, there's always the laws of physics, and even if the motorcycles are cost more to register, and the FAAQ has the cost has risen to drive a motorcycle. Some motorcyclists maybe drive too fast. Same thing that happens for car drivers as well. So these machines are really powerful now, and the same goes for our vehicles. And sometimes we just don't realize how easy it is to gain speed, but how more difficult it might be to control a car that when we lose control, or even to brake. So even
Jesse,
in the summer.
Jesse, I just want to ask you one thing, because I've gotten a lot of our listeners sending me a message on our text message line, and they are because I start off saying that the police were out in force and warnings were made, and I have listeners who are saying the police were not there. I have one listener, and I've got several messages, but here's one. Police in full force? Ha! July 29th, I traveled from Charlevoix, Quebec to Montreal. Not one cop car in sight. Other issue is the cops only go after speeders. They don't go after tailgating. They don't go after other reckless maneuvers. Can I just ask you if you believe that the police presence was as high as it should be, and if police officers are focusing on the right things?
Well, obviously, we weren't there everywhere on the roads in Quebec to monitor this, but I know that every year there will be these messages. Now, what happens? Maybe that's a question for the Sûreté du Québec or other police forces. Why they are less visible than might, and sometimes there's 4 or 5 cars setting a speed control or speed checkpoint. That's a question that you maybe you should be asked to these people. But obviously, police people have gotten used to maybe going over the limits and just being on the edge of what's acceptable, and the results are unfortunately there. So we have a responsibility, even if we can't only rely on police forces to control us or to make us behave.
Jesse, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for coming on this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Jesse Caron is with CAA Quebec.